Welcome to the Three Hokages podcast. We're your hosts, Kay, Kareem, and Hanif. This episode, we're going to talk about TV streaming shows. So we're going to start off with The Penguin and then make our way down to DC for Alex Cross. So, Kareem, you've seen Penguin, Colin Farrell's, no, I think it's 9 episodes or 8 episodes, HBO Max series. What's your initial take? I know the internet's loving this show, more so about not the Penguin, but other characters in the show have seemed to be taking the spotlight.
So I'm going to be a contrarian and say that it's not a good show. Nah, I'm lying. But I do like the segue of Penguin to DC. So I have to point that out. That was very smooth.
Thank you.
But and I can't overstate this enough. If you're looking for a really good drama, if you're looking for a great character development, if you're looking for a return to glory for HBO in terms of these type of series where you have in the past The Sopranos, The Wire, shows of that nature, you're going to enjoy The Penguin. This show to me is one of, if not the best depiction of the Penguin in live action ever, hands down. There should be, if not winning some awards, definitely some nominations from this show. That's how good it is. It's so easy to get lost in the character portrayals, the storyline, that you forget you've seen these actors in other things. Like obviously Colin Farrell is the first one to start off with. I've seen him in so many movies, and I could not remember that was him. That's how good he was as the Penguin. Now, obviously, prosthetics, the makeup, everything else, it makes him look a lot different. But the portrayal is so drastically different from other characters, and it's so consistent in my mind that it's like that's the Penguin. If there's a question of, oh, this person embodied the Joker, or this person embodied another Batman villain, this is the Penguin that to me sets the standard going forward. The writing on this show and the other characters, including Vic, who I'm sure you've seen a lot about on the internet. He is a great character. Sophia Falcone, she was amazing. But literally, even the supporting characters were great characters. And the reason why I'm saying that is because here's a show about a villain, one of Batman's villains who used to be bigger back in the day in terms of live action or cartoon portrayals, but he's probably been on a decline because I guess they didn't know how to really show him. So you're watching a show about a real villain, but you're watching the journey in a manner you're rooting for him. So he starts off pretty much where the Batman movie left off, where he's like a relatively lower level, henchman. He doesn't have much respect, given to him. The Penguin isn't really a nickname that he embraces. It's something that people use to mock him. But as soon as the show starts, he makes a decision that sets the trajectory of the entire season or the entire show. And you get to understand him from that point on, where he doesn't like to be mocked, but he also has this vision of what he wants to be. And so you get that right off the bat. He wants to be this well-respected mob boss. He wants people to possibly have parades about him. But he's also quick to anger. And he also sometimes doesn't think things through, but he still has that motivation to rise. And so that sets the stage of everything that he does. And the show is so good, the writing is so good that you forget you're rooting for a villain. You're rooting for somebody who puts himself first, who's narcissistic in every way, who's psychotic in ways, because you're like, you know what? I want the Penguin to win this week. I want him to, to take on the Falcones and the Maronis. I want him to come out on top. And you're forgetting, like, wait, he's really not a good guy. You can see his motivations, the relationship with his mother. You can see parts of him that as to why people become so loyal to him, such as Vic, the way he manipulates the situation around him with the characters, but also the understanding of how bad Gotham is, which is you have corrupt politicians, you have corrupt cops, and they all care about themselves, not the actual citizens of Gotham. And so he takes advantage of that. and so there's a lot of different red herrings, in my opinion, in terms of where the show is heading. You got obviously the drug trade. You got who's going to control what. Um, but the real issue is who is the Penguin? What does he want in Gotham? And how can he set things in a way where he can become who he wants to be? And I put it that way because his background, his backstory, everyone's backstory is explored in this show. And it's explored thoroughly to the point where you feel sorry for him, but then you also realize I'm rooting for a villain. And the show ultimately reminds you of that again and again, where you're put in a position where I'm not going to say the characters' names, but where it's like it's between the Penguin and someone else. Where who are you rooting for? Who do you want to see on top? And then you kind of realize, wait, I don't want to see either one of them on top because that's not good for anyone. But that's how you feel invested. You feel invested every episode. You can see it through the Penguin's eyes. You can see it through Sophia's eyes, where her backstory is very tragic. And to me, she's one of the most well-written characters in a TV show that's adapted from comic books, where you can really understand why she is the way that she is, why she's doing the things that she's doing. No character behaves in a way where you're like, it doesn't make sense. Even if it's not something you want them to do, it makes sense based on the character and what the show has given you. And the journey this season takes us on, and I'm only saying season because I do hope there's a season 2. Maybe they don't need a season 2. Maybe it's just the next movie that addresses some of these. I am hopeful though, but again, I don't want to take away from any plans that they may have. But the journey it takes you on is no one ends up in the same position they started at. However, you understand every character's motivations. You don't technically hate any character, even if you don't want to see them succeed. You can just enjoy it for the ride that it is. And as a Batman fan, as someone who actually enjoys Batman's, gallery of villains, I am extremely happy with the way that they portrayed the Penguin. They've given him his due. They've given him his respect, and they've shown why he is someone that has given Batman a lot of trouble over the decades that he's been written, because he understands how to play the system. He also understands how to play other characters, and he also knows what it is that he wants. Even if it's always not a good plan, he has something up his sleeve, and I can't give any more kudos to the show without giving away any spoilers, but I highly recommend watching this show. And I don't mind watching it again because I'm planning on doing that very soon. So please check it out so we can talk about all the spoilers in it.
now, you have mentioned that you sometimes you have to ask yourself why you're rooting for a villain. Do they give you actual good people to root for? Like it's like watching. To me, I feel like it sounds like it's like watching The Wire, where you see people selling drugs, you see people doing criminal activity, but there seems to be a glimmer of redeemability about that individual. So I'll root for this person. No, Omar is a bad guy, but no, he's just robbing drug dealers. So I'll root for him. He's still a bad guy, but I'll root for him. It's like that. Is that kind of what it is with the Penguin, where he maybe is the lesser of the evil characters in the show, so therefore I'll root for him to be successful? Something like that.
That's a
not so much. You gotta,
without giving away any spoilers, I would say
yeah.
At a certain point you do believe that. And so I'll shift away from him, and I'll say it in terms of, in a way, you're kind of rooting for every character, because every character is dealing with some kind of trauma that they're trying to overcome. And so, for example, I'm like, okay, this is the Penguin. This is a villain that we know, and you want him to be given his due respect. And so there's other characters that are opposing him, and I'm like, they really can't stand up against the Penguin. I started thinking at one point, like, come on now, you got to be kidding me. And you start seeing like, yeah, they really can, but then you're like, wait, he's not a good person. And this is me being very vague. So yes, you do feel that every character is redeemable to an extent. Even Sophia, you feel that she's redeemable. But when they start getting into more about people's backstories, without saying specifically which characters have truly tragic backstories versus where characters created their own tragic backstory.
Mm-hmm.
I can say probably Vic is one that you can root for. Um, Sophia, you probably can to an extent. Penguin, you can to an extent. Some more than others. But I know we've had this discussion in the past. Um, make villains villains again. Like stop making it where you're like, yeah, this, and I'm gonna use Kylo Ren because I think he is a very bad character in my opinion. Where it's like, yeah, he just committed, he just massacred an entire planet, killed billions of people, was blowing up the planet. But you know what? He's flirting with, what's her name? So yeah, he's a cool guy. And you're supposed to feel sympathy for them. This is a show where it's like, yeah, you understand their backstory, you may understand what they're going through, but yeah, they're still villains are villains again. And without giving away again any spoilers, but you might have seen it on the internet, uh, you struggle with decisions characters make, not because they were bad decisions in terms of the story itself, but it's like similar to life where you wish people made better decisions because of where they ultimately end up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to me, that's great writing where even after a season or a show ends, you're still grappling with decisions characters made. And I'm being very vague again, but that's
That's
good
fine.
writing.
Yeah.
That's good
Okay.
writing.
You know, you
Yeah.
don't have to be vague though, right?
I do because I want you to
You just, you
enjoy
just
it.
want to spoil it
I
for us,
want
for
I
the
want
people
you
that
to
want to
enjoy
watch
it
it.
yourself. I want you to feel all the emotions of what happens yourself. Trust me.
I can't play the core. I could just, like, let me go see it.
But even
No.
if you do see the memes or the quotes, you won't feel it the same way if you don't go through the journey with them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that being said, I still ain't seen that Batman movie that y'all talking about, so does it matter?
Really?
Yeah, I
No,
haven't seen that.
but you can watch the show without it.
Look, I know there's a lot that I have not seen. I have not seen the Batman movie. I've not seen either of the Joker movies. Um, I don't plan on it.
There was no Joker movies. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't know.
Those don't exist. Those are like Suicide One movies. We know those don't
First of all,
exist.
shut up. I stand 10 toes down on I like the first Suicide Squad movie. It was fun. It was an enjoyable, happy, fun movie.
It was fun until they introduced the Joker. I felt that he
I
was
think if they didn't have
unnecessary.
to try, they shouldn't. I think they used the Joker to try to force you into seeing Batman again in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need
Yeah.
those two characters in that movie.
No.
I
No.
think in Suicide Squad 2 proved that you don't need Joker, you don't need Batman in the movie to be enjoyable. And I think to me, Suicide Squad 1 isn't as good as Part 2.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
and I think and I think the first one's better. I think it's ridiculous.
First
Okay.
one, the first one doesn't have. You have Will Smith. The second one has Idris Elba. I'm going to go with the one with Idris Elba as opposed to Will Smith.
So y'all are going with the British man versus the American. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
No, make black actors great again. Get Will Smith off my screen and put some more Idris Elba on the screen.
I can't with you. Oh man. But Kareem, but the way it ends, does it leave it open for a second season? Yes or no?
It does. It does, but I also think it leaves the door open for greater things.
Okay.
Like spin-offs inside
yeah,
the world. Okay.
yeah, or even a tie-in to a movie. This is done right, in my opinion. Right? It's you can tell without giving away anything that it's in the same universe as the Batman. You know that from the beginning because it picks up right where it left off, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But if you never saw the first movie and you have no intentions of seeing the movie after, you can still enjoy the show from the beginning to the end. It gives you an ending, but it also creates a beginning where it can lead to, um, you know, movie appearances, or even he's a major character in one of the movies. Maybe not the second one, but definitely the third one. Um, I can see that because Gotham itself is a character, and you need the
Oh,
fixtures in Gotham to be around to give Gotham that, that personality that it has. And he's definitely a fixture in Gotham.
Okay.
Nice. So we head down the I-95 corridor to the DMV area. We run into Alex Cross, and Aldous Hodge is the latest actor, American black actor to play the Alex Cross character.
I like Will Smith though. I do. Especially after that. No, I'm kidding. I like him even more after that.
The self-titled series. This is season 1. Kirsten informed me that they've already been approved or greenlit for a season 2 for Alex Cross. Is on Amazon Prime's streaming service. I've only seen the first episode, and already I enjoy it. Kay, I'm guessing you've already pushed through and saw more than the first episode?
I've saw more than the first episode. I've seen the first and second episode. I started the third episode.
Okay.
Sure. Did I finish the third episode? Okay. So wait, I've either finished the third episode or I'm halfway through the third episode. It's mainly because like my mom was like, "So have you started watching Cross yet?" And I was like, "No." So my mom is like, "Okay." She's like, "Yeah, no, watch it." She's like, "I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I'm not going to tell you anything. But all I'm going to tell you is hand sanitizer." And I'm like, "What? Okay." But the fact that my mother,
if I see anything with hand sanitizer, in the
right?
scene.
I have no idea. Like, I'm like, my mom just is like, "Yo, you got to watch it." And I'm just like, if my mother is telling me to watch it, it's really good. Like, I was gonna watch it anyway, but I kind of forgot that it had started until I was talking to my mom, and she was like, "Yeah, so have you started watching Cross?" And I was like, no. Did it start?" She said, "Yes." So, which makes me wonder, how far did my mother binge watch this show?
Well, I think it was all 8 or 9 episodes that are out now, so you can.
But they're like an hour long.
She's living that retired life. She can sit there and watch all the episodes.
Man, listen, I wish that one runs around more now than she did when she was working. Like, she is she is everyone's cap. The joy. But yeah, no, I am enjoying this, although I have a problem with the first 10 minutes. Why? Of the first episode. Like, why do her like that? Why?
It's establish the character's deep-rooted trauma in himself. Like, he for those who don't know, Alex Cross is a detective in the DMV area. He has a PhD in psychology. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's not like he's not like Sherlock Holmes or anything like that, where he can perceive all this other kind of stuff or whatever. He's not like that. He's think of himself as I'm trying to remember the guy's name, with Denzel Washington's character from when he was like a paraplegic detective. I can't remember the name of that one, but pretty much he's a detective. No, it's like any other murder mystery movies or books. It's similar to this one. The only thing is that his trauma is that he's not able to save his wife. An assassin shoots and kills his wife, and he's burdened with trying to find out who killed her and why. In the books, I think there's over 15 different books in the series. I'm not sure where this series, Amazon Prime show, season 1, I'm not sure if this is something totally removed from the literary novels or if this is one of the many novels, but at least the first 10 minutes of it starts off like the first book. It gives you a basis of who this character is. He's out having dinner or having a good time with his wife, gunshot, wife gets killed. Fast forward a few years later, he's still on the force, but that's still something that eats at him, that he was never there to save his wife. But Kareem, you haven't seen it though.
I saw half of the first episode,
Okay.
and I'm enjoying it so far. This is a show that, again, I'm not gonna be able to finish this weekend, but I do plan on at least getting through the first 3 episodes today. This is a show I've been looking forward to, actually. So I'm glad to hear that they announced a season 2 for it. I do like Aldous Hodge, so and a mystery detective, a black detective. I'm going to enjoy this. But yeah, that I agree with Kay to an extent. It's like I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm getting everything set up. I'm like, hey, I got my coffee. I got a little snack. I'm gonna enjoy this. And in the first 5 minutes, I'm traumatized. I'm like, wait, what just happened? Like he's having a good time. His boy is like, hey, you gotta stop showing your wife so much love. And then bang, it's like, whoa,
Right.
like but I do like the way that it started off in the sense of it does define the backstory for the character and the trauma and understand what moves him, what motivates him going forward, and what also creates challenges not just for him but for his kids. And so I am looking forward to diving into the show a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think also for those who might have not known, his partner is the guy from the Old Spice commercials. The whole "look at me, turn away, look at
Oh,
this."
that's where
I forgot the actor's real life name, but that's actually him. And like, no, that's one thing I like about Amazon Prime. When you can watch a show, you can check your phone and it tells you who's in that scene. You can click on it, you can see the cast and all that other stuff. I was like, oh, I think his name might be Mustafa, but I forgot his real name.
Yeah, Isaiah Mustafa.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, you can know that is the Old Spice guy. Okay, this is him, more hair on his head. So, but
every time they catch him, they should play that music, the whistle for Old Spice.
Yeah, but it's so far it's good. I mean, there hasn't been a TV show that Aldous Hodge is in that I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed him in Leverage. I enjoyed him on City on a Hill. Was I think it was him and Kevin Bacon. He played one of the district attorneys in Boston, like in the 80s, and Kevin Bacon was like not so much. He was a cop who he wasn't dirty, but he did his own. He played by his own rules kind of thing. Boston, as you know, is like this is the northern version of the South as far as racism goes. So in the 80s, blacks in Boston and him being a district attorney, it's interesting. It was I forgot what channel that was on, but I think it did 2 seasons and it got canceled, but it was a good series. I think if you guys ever check it out and have some time to watch, I think each season was about 12 episodes. And those two butt heads a lot of times because, Aldous Hodge being a district attorney and a cop, trying to circumvent the laws, do certain things, help his friends or find justice. And Aldous Hodge trying to bring certain people to justice. It was good. I enjoyed it. I think you would too if you're a fan of Aldous Hodge.
Okay, so I did look it up because that's why you see my head turn because I'm looking at the other monitor. So no, they purposely did not choose to adapt any one particular novel for this season. It's not. It's not based off. Obviously, it's based off of the world, but this storyline, this season, is not actually based on any of the books.
Oh, okay.
So they've created, I guess, their brand new case, like a brand new.
So unlike Jack Reacher, which kind of loosely based on certain books, this is like no books.
Yeah, like no. Mm-hmm. It's like, so we have new characters, new villains, so which I am like, you know what? That's great because then for the people that have read the James Patterson novels, which that man has sold a lot, which means there's a whole lot of people. This way, this is one thing they can watch it like they can't figure it out, like who's the how it's gonna end or anything. Although you've watched the first 30 minutes, so the white dude,
he looks creepy with that blonde hair. I recognize him from Blacklist. He was the main character's boyfriend or husband. So him with blonde hair now, it's like you look really weird.
And can I just say, the moment I saw him, I was like, "Oh, you're the bad guy." Like when you first, I'm like, "You're the bad guy." You know why? Because like you were the bad guy on Blacklist. Like, nah, sir, you were Keen's husband. You are the bad guy. No matter what happens, you can't be a good guy. You're the bad guy. Like you're like, dude. And then with the blonde hair, I'm like, you are definitely.
I'm looking forward to find his reasoning for his actions. Because I mean, by the end of the first episode, at least one person is involved in this stuff, but why, who? Because I still don't know. We still don't know who killed his wife. So that, I mean, like I said before we started recording, there seems to be 2 different storylines here. 1, who killed Alex Cross's wife? 2, who kills this other the community activist, and why? Are they going to intersect? I don't know, but so far it's very interesting.
The fact that like you cut off I like how it seems kind of very based in reality, because you have the community activist. He turned his life around. He grew his locks, and the police were like, well, there's nothing, it's no big deal. Like, what? This dude is a Muslim, and so of course he has pork in his stomach. So obviously he definitely didn't kill himself. Like, this dude, who does that? Sorry, that's just really weird.
Yeah,
but
that's what happens when you eat pork. Your beard falls out.
Your head just falls out. No, you have pork in your system one time, you die automatically. Fine is not fine.
I really do enjoy that this is like very grounded in reality. Like, everything that seems to be happening in the first, like, I'm gonna say for the first episodes, seems like things that literally can happen. Like, nothing seems far-fetched, nothing seems out of the ordinary. This literally just seems like, oh, hold on, we've been dropped into an active investigation, and how somebody wants to, the police want to say, well, no, this is the story that you're going to tell. These are the facts that you're gonna adjust your thinking to, which I thought was a really good plot point. But I am very much looking forward to understanding my mom's thing about hand sanitizer, because it's weird.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hand sanitizer, sure, Ma, okay.
I want to keep that in mind too. Actually, now, hand sanitizer.
Because she's like, yeah, just that's the only thing I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you any spoilers, just hand sanitizer. And I'm just like, okay, I'm a paranoid person as it stands now. Like, I don't use hand sanitizers out in the street. I carry my own little one with me, and I'm just like, so is it like? And then I thought, I'm like, that'd be a great way to hurt somebody. But like, how would you do that? Like,
you're gonna be like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme when you see the part. You're like, I get it.
Definitely gonna be me. I'm like,
definitely gonna be a revelation.
I swear I guarantee you, I'm gonna probably call my mother when I find out. I'm like, when I get to that point, I'm gonna call her, like, oh, that's what you mean. And she's like, oh, it took you long enough.
Well, I'm looking forward to finish. I think we're gonna try to pace ourselves with it. Maybe do an episode a week just to kind of drag it out, because right now, I mean, there's not many shows out. So if we binge it right now, we're back to like, okay, what else is there to watch? What else we're gonna dig back into the crates and see what else we got to watch.
So yeah, that's, I guess, a good thing. Well, you always have to wait until December when we get What If season 3 and we get Storm.
Ooh.
That's over a month away.
Shut up.
And there's only Silo.
I haven't watched that. I guess I'll need to find a way to acquire some of those Apple TV shows. Somewhere on the high seas, there must be a way to procure these hours longs of entertainment.
Wait, Silo has a second season coming out, or a third season coming out?
Second season just started this past week.
Is that based on the comic? No, I'm thinking of Wool.
It's based on a novel.
It's based on a novel. Okay.
Yeah.
Wool is based off of Silo.
Oh, it is.
If I remember correctly. Wool.
Okay. I felt like Wool was a comic that I picked up in New York Comic Con some years ago.
It was, and I think Wool is based. Make sure that I'm right.
Silo is based on Wool.
I think. Hold on, Wool.
Because honestly, looking at from what I can remember about Wool, it kind of reminds me of the first season, this past season of Fallout, when they, the different shelters or bunkers, and then they realize one of the bunkers gets taken out by the people outside the facility, and they tricked and snuck in. I don't know if that happens in this season of Silo or season 1 of Silo, but that's what it feels like, one of these post-apocalyptic things. You can't trust the people inside that you're in with.
So Wool is the main thing. Wool was adapted into Silo. So when we got that from that comic book from New York Comic Con all them years ago, that's how Silo started. Like that is the beginning of Silo.
Okay.
So
I don't know where that book is now, but okay.
Wait, Kareem, but last year you bought the other 2 books.
I did.
Yeah, 'cause I was, like, I was with
Yeah.
Kareem when he bought the other 2 books, and I think
Oh, okay.
I got them signed, everything.
Hold on to
all
them.
the things that happen when
Yeah.
you go to New York Comic Con. You meet art,
Exactly.
you meet the writers.
And we was
Yeah.
just standing there next to this table without even realizing it at first. Like, oh, wait a minute. And then remember everybody else started coming over. We took pictures.
Yeah,
You never
that's
know.
how it is when a lot of the niggas, before they become popular in television or in a movie, a lot of people just sitting around. Like I remember, I think this was probably towards the beginning of, or maybe middle of the first season of Walking Dead. I remember Kirkman was just like hanging out at the Image booth. Like you still had to get a ticket to get his signature, but I remember my friend went back and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sign Invincible." I was like, "What's Invincible?" I was like, "Why don't you just get a Walking Dead?" He's like, Invincible. He said, "Invincible's a pretty good comic." I was like, "Eh." Oh man, I don't even know what that poster. I think I might have threw that poster out that had a signature on it, but it was one I was like, "Oh yeah, he's right here. Just have him sign it." Okay, let's go. We on to something else. Go. Let's keep going to see something else at the convention.
Yeah.
The stories are Wool, Shift, and Dust. Those are the 3 books.
Shift or shit?
Shift, sorry,
Okay.
with an F, like lunch shift. Shift.
Okay, I like my version better.
Yeah.
Okay, I got nothing. I got nothing.
So long story short, check out Penguin. Check out Alex Cross. Now you can root for a villain. You can root for a hero. Which one you do first is up to you. Let us know.
Yeah.